everybody, welcome to Thursday. Cruising through this week. Happy week, good week. And yep, these are my other spectacles. And I don't have any headlines. No headlines. What is going on? Well, we get busy and things going on, and I don't have any headlines today. So here's a headline for you. No headlines. Yeah, bad joke. But what I do have for you guys is more history regarding Halloween. So we've talked about Halloween, the holiday. We talked about Dracula. We talked about jack-o'-lanterns. But what about the trick-or-treating part? This is the part where, the kids run around and they say trick-or-treat and they get some candy or a box of rocks. And, yeah. So where did that come from with all this other crazy stuff, the 8 to hell and all this weird jack and the lanterns that scared the crazy jack guy away? It's like, and Dracula, where did we get this part where we get candy for it? Well, turns out, going straight back to that festival of Samhain, why did I bring these? But other than to actually use them to read. Yes. So during the festival, they would actually leave out food that would be for the spirits that were traveling for the night. Because remember, the Samhain festival is the harvest festival. It's the end of summer and the beginning of autumn winter. So they believed that was the time that it would be most beneficial or most convenient for the spirits to roam the land, right? So, and just like they put the turnips, the carved turnips, out to scare the jack away, they would also leave food out as well to be kind to the spirits, so that they wouldn't be bad spirits. So really, the dressing up piece came much later, much later. In fact, it was still the Irish, though. Irish kids in certain areas would go house to house during All Hallows Eve or on Halloween as part of the tradition of maintaining the festival. They would go house to house where they would put on, and I quote, they would put on small performances. Yes. They would sing, they would dance, they would act out things, they would put on, a group of kids would knock on the door, put on a performance, and in so doing, they would get treats, food, and sometimes even money. Money's pretty rare these days, but they were putting on a performance, so it's kind of, you might want to pony up a little bit for that. The tradition was called guising. Don't ask me what that means, it didn't say. But very interesting that's how the trick-or-treating got started. They did a performance and they got a treat for it. I don't know where the trick really came from. They didn't describe that. In North America, though, this didn't really take on much and really become a thing until until it happened in Ontario, Canada, not even in America, right? It became very popular in Ontario, Canada, later spread to the U.S. It wasn't until the 1940s and 50s that the term trick-or-treat started in the U.S. and became popular in Canada. So Canada gave us the popular action of going door to door and doing the performances, and then when that bled into America, we started saying trick-or-treat. We're not going to do a performance, just trick-or-treat. And that got popular and went to Canada. So that's why Halloween, the way it's celebrated, is really just a North American thing so much. So then the trick-or-treat part really has to do with, just kind of changing over time. People started to be worried about, these hooligans dressed up, showing up and, doing a trick on their house or something. So to avoid the trick, they would give you the treat. So the payment became backwards. Instead of you do a trick and some kind of performance and we'll pay you for it, it became, don't trick me and my house. I'll pay you to just go away, basically. So that's where the trick-or-treating comes from. Pretty cool, pretty neat, pretty interesting. That is the history of Halloween overall. So we got a good rest of the day for you. It is Thursday, so we got our cooking live, Calamity Cooking Workshop, where we've been cooking cool Halloween-y stuff all month long so far. So we'll see what we got today. That's YouTube Live, 1 o'clock. I have had a preview, and I'm pretty excited about it myself. So look forward to that, 12 o'clock, YouTube Live. But we've also got crickety, crickety, I don't know what the witch says, but the witch is back.
Ew, whose lunch pail on the counter? Mere mortals don't look and take care of anything. Ew, what do we have here? They're locked in a room, probably where they all belong anyway. Look at the one in the red. Oh, he almost saw me. Oh, look it here. What are they doing? Are they playing a Ouija board in there? Oh, I should join. No, maybe not this time. Oh, I wonder if they ever saw me. They might be looking now. Oh, it's Halloween, not Christmas. What's Santa doing here? Oh, it's not Christmas time. He hasn't eaten enough cookies. Are these ones playing with the Ouija board too? I highly doubt it. They seem very bored. Time to spruce. Where to now? The witch is in? No. Who does she think she is? I'm the only witch here. No. Imposters. Everybody wants to be the witch on Halloween. Who? Never. I shall get that one. Oh, this vantage point might be a good one. What do you think, darling? May I sit on your stoop with you? I can watch my bumbling buffoon. You know, my husband. He's always falling down on his patootie. I knew I'll see him. And all the rest of you.
Ooh, she's like creeping around the building. It's really not very comfortable. We got the witch, we got the Kimberlina, and the steampunk dude. All always very weird. Oh well, maybe you can find that little witch somewhere creeping around. We can capture her and make her not be so creepy and weird. Anyway, moving on with the National Day.
Morning, everybody. Here we are, Thursday. What is Thursday? Yep, down the slope to Friday and the weekend. Today is the 19th. It's Thursday, and it's one of those days. There were only 3 things, I think. 3. And what real interesting. So I picked the one that was the most interesting to me because I've been there. It's National Kentucky Day. You know, the state of Kentucky, where Churchill Downs is, and they run the race, and they have bourbon trails, and horses, and people think of pretty white fences with green acres. Nope, not anymore. All the fences are black now. They are some white fences that have been grandfathered in to their law of only black fences. Why is that? I did ask when we were there because that was the first thing I wanted to see. Those long linear white fences that you see in all the movies and how cool that looks. Has something to do with people weren't taking care of them, and then when you see them they look jinky. And Kentucky's known for bourbon. Lots of bourbon. And when the bourbon is made and it goes in the barrels and it's put into the barrel houses, there's names for them, I can't remember what it is right now, they start to dissipate a little bit. They lose some of their volume. It evaporates with the weather. You know, when it's warm, things expand. When it gets cold, they contract, and so does the liquid inside of it, and they give off a vapor, and this vapor makes everything around the areas black. It's kind of like sooty. And if you go up somewhere and there's an old barrel house and it looks like it was on fire at one time. It's covered with this soot, but it's from the expansion and everything of the barrels, and what they say is the angels portion goes out and the devil's portion is left in, and all those kinds of things. But the white fences were getting black, and it was costing a lot, and people weren't maintaining to keep them clean and paint them and all that kind of stuff. So they figured, we're gonna go black. So now they're black. It was kind of disappointing, but those are a few fun facts on the National Day of National Kentucky Day.
Very cool, very good. Back in the past with Zach.
Hey guys, it's Thursday. It is the 19th. Let's go ahead and go back in the bearded past with Zach. Lots of fun, actually, history today. We had, number one, in 1789, we had John Jay is sworn in as the first Chief of Justice of the United States. We also, in 1781, the American Revolutionary War, the Siege of Yorktown comes to an end. I spoke about Yorktown a little while back when the French fleets were there. This essentially ended the northern part of the Revolutionary War. There were still some battles being fought down in the south, but Virginia up, pretty much this was the end of the fighting in that part of the war. Also, too, in 1864, American Civil War Confederate agents, they were based in Canada. They robbed 3 banks in St. Albans, Vermont. Just so you know, there were a lot of basically special agents, spies, and a lot of them were in Canada. And they came up with all kinds of different creative ways to try to cause terror within the North. Well, I guess this was one of those ones where they decided to rob 3 banks, get some money for the Confederacy. Confederacy was poor by this time. Also in 1864, the American Civil War, the Battle of Cedar Creek ends. This battle is significant because General Ewell was sent, and he was within visual. He could visually see the Capitol. They had gotten that close to the Capitol. They had almost surprised the Union. Now, men and numbers, I don't know how far they would have gone, plus the amount of fortifications around D.C., but essentially this was the last, the closest, and yet the last time they ever got this close again. Within the next year, the war ended. So that was big. General Ewell. Also, too, in 1944, United States forces land back in the Philippines. This is when MacArthur returns. Remember, early in the war, Philippines was taken over. You had the Korean, the Bataan Death March. The Philippines, the Japanese in the Philippines, it was a horrible march. So MacArthur did state at the end of that, I will return, and he did. In 1944, he comes back, and it takes some pretty serious fighting, but they eventually get over to and take over take back the Philippines. And last but not least, we are going to put World War I, the first battle of White Press begins. So you guys know, a lot of the times, reasons why we hear the first, the second, the third, is these armies would get stuck in these same spots for years. For like a year, for even 2 years. So when you hear first battle of White Press, and then you hear second battle of White Press, it's because they fought one there, and then like 7 months later they had another major massacre there. I mean, that's really what a lot of those were. So once again, in 1914, this is early in the conflict, and the Battle of White Press begins. The Americans had not yet entered the war at this time, guys. So enjoy, your history, and check some out, guys. All right, if you got any good history, please tell me. All right, later.
Very good. All right, guys, that's it. We'll see you 1 o'clock, YouTube Live, Calamity Cooking Workshop, where we will cook something spookily delicious. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care, everybody.